Hello fellow flight simmers, welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. After the last sim update, there were some changes and improvements to the 787 that I read in the changelog, so today we are going to give her a second chance and we'll see how she performs. I know I was busy and I wasn't able to post a lot of videos recently, but this week I am planning to do another video Wednesday to take a look at the improvements with 091 version of working site title CJ4. There are some interesting improvements. We have working holding patterns and GPS coordinates that you can enter as waypoints. So we will look into that this Wednesday, hopefully. If not Thursday night, the video will be out. And then this Saturday, after this flight, we are going to do the very same flight with the fly-by-wire A320NX. The reason being, if we face any problems, because I haven't tested this aircraft yet, we are going to test the same route with a different aircraft to see if it is 787 or if it is the navigational data that's causing some problems. So, our route today is going to be from Pearson International Airport in Canada to Washington Dulles International. The flight number for today's flight is AC7372. This is a real-world flight flown by Air Canada, but not with an 787, I'm sorry. They usually fly CRJ aircraft on this route because this is a fairly short destination, an hour 25 minutes flight roughly. But without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and let's get her started. Everything is cold and dark. I'm gonna go very quickly as you have seen the flow so many times by now, so I don't need to explain anything. The batteries are on, external power is available. Just adjust the brightness just a little bit. And then from here we can directly jump to the FMC and start programming our flight. Let me post the route to you guys in there so that you guys can see. Give me a second to put it up there. Oh, what's happening? Okay, now you should be able to see the route in a second. We already set the position. Our current position is Charlie Yankee Yankee Zulu, Pearson International. I can't remember the gate number, so I'm gonna pass, but as far as I remember it was gate 34. I'll put it there anyway. And the runway for today's flight is going to be runway 23. So the heading will be 230. And let's go to the next page. Nothing here that we can do. Let's go to the next page. That's it. Okay, let's go to the route page and start programming our route. Departure and destination will be Kilo India Alpha Delta, I believe. Yes, that's the code for Washington Dulles International. So Kilo India Alpha Delta. Our flight number today is going to be AC7372. Let's plug it in there and let's go to the next page. First waypoint and last waypoint is going to be Papa Sierra Bravo, and that's a direct to that waypoint. Hopefully she will take it. She did. We'll activate the route and execute it and pick our departure, which is going to be runway 23 via the Regus 4 departure. Let me see where it is. I think I just passed it. Regus 4, there it is. We'll activate it and we will pick the arrival when we are up in the air. So that is our FMC setup. And let's check the weather and set the barometric pressure. That's weather is 3029er. So 3029er. Set, and we'll go back and program our performance. So the flight level for today's flight is going to be, let me see the operational flight plan here real quick. And let me get rid of the route so that it doesn't clutter the screen for you guys. Trying to do so many things at the same time. Something wrong. Okay, let's do this. We pull the OFP and we'll base it off of that. Our flight level is 370. That is in there. We are departing with 4.48 tons of reserve fuel, and our takeoff fuel will be 25.56 tons. Well, let's adjust that. That's probably going to be somewhere around 14-15%, maybe less. Let's try 13. 29.0. No, still too much. 24,604. 25.3. We are looking to 25.5, so I'll go 35%. Okay, we will leave it at 26.1. That's okay. And the payload, let me say the payload is going to be 89.7. So let's adjust that to payload 78, 88. Okay, that's too much. 88.2, 89.7, we will add to this. We are going to take the business class and premium economy down and add it to economy class, because that's not true for real life. And what is it we are missing? 88.2 to 89.7, we are missing 1500, so we will add that. We will add 1000 to the rear baggage and then 500 to the front, so that will make 82.7. Oh no. What did I do? Oh, it is this one. 89.7, there we go. Alright, that is done. Cost index for today's flight is going to be 23. That is in there. Go to the index and come back to for the data to update, and we'll execute this. 26.1, 4.5 reserve, and then everything else. That is looking good. Departure arrival is programmed. We'll just go to the thrust limiters. We are going to do reduced thrust, takeoff thrust by 10%. Takeoff will be flaps 10. And obviously we can't change anything else other than this, which I will leave alone. Let's select the V speeds, and that's it. Let's go to the legs page, and what I will do is I will transfer the screen over here, increase the range just a tiny bit to 20, then go to the plan mode and cycle through the legs. That looks okay. ESP, and that's our last one. So we will select the arrival when we are up in the air. Flight director can come on. Let me see the chart for our departure to see if we have any restrictions here. As far as I can tell, there are no altitude or speed restrictions other than the official ones, which is 250 below 10,000, so we will aim for our cruising altitude of 37,000 feet for departure. That is set. So that takes care of the autopilot for now. And what we can do now is, I think we can just start the APU. Turn on the fuel pumps. We don't have any fuel on center tanks, so we are going to leave them alone. We'll turn on the crossfeed and fuel balance system. And we will start the APU right away. Turn on the passenger signs. And that is pretty much it for now, until the APU starts. And for that, let's just switch to the systems page here and go to the electrical. So the APU is spooling, as far as I can tell from the arrows, and it will be available in a second, and we will be ready for our pushback. Alright, I increased the volume of the simulator. I hope this is better for you to hear me and the sim at the same time without banging into your ears. So hopefully this is a better adjustment or better levels when it comes to volume. We will set the speed to 245 for now, and hopefully the VNAV will take care of it. So APU is on, APU generators can come on, external power can come off, and we are ready for pushback. So we will activate the pushback. That will take care of the jetway, hopefully. Yes, it did. Very good. Release the parking brake. And we will be ready for engine start as soon as the pushback starts. As far as pushback goes, I think we are going to push the tail to the left and then take this taxiway all the way to the end for the runway. That is the plan. And we are aiming for this taxiway, so we will go further back. Somewhere here we will push to the left. Alright, waiting for the pushback tug. There we go. Beacon light and nav light can come on now, and then we will start left engine first. Left engine starting. We will monitor the N2 and then take a look around to make sure we are not missing our point where we need to ask the tug to push us to the left. Almost 20% there. We are going to add the fuel shortly, like so, and check the engine real quick. Everything looks fine. Though I am not hearing the engine sounds for some reason. Maybe I should move to the... yeah, there we go. Because I was using the camera, as I said, which is taking the cockpit sounds rather than the exterior sound. But the engine is spooling, and the starter should come off anytime now. I think now we can ask the tug to almost turn us to the left after starting the second engine. Second engine is spooling, and now I'm gonna ask him to push us to the left. 13% on N2, getting close to 20, and we will add the fuel right now. Engine should be spooling now. Yes, it is, and the tail is almost going to align with the taxi line. That is the one, so we can stop the pushback now, set the parking brake, and as soon as this engine starts and stabilizes, we will kill the APU. But we can turn on the taxi lights now. Taxi lights are on. Starter switch will go back. There we go. Engine generators are on, so we can turn off the APU generators and kill the APU. We are pretty much ready for taxi. Fortunately, I'm not using ATC again. I haven't tested. They said they did some improvements. Maybe next flight we can give the in-game ATC another try. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that happening in the next flight. Okay. Just a little bit of trouble. Together moving. We'll align with the taxiway, which is that guy over there. She is very slow to speed up or accelerate when it comes to taxiing and requires decent thrust to get going, but when she starts to move, she moves. So that is the taxiway we are going to take, which is this right now. I still need to adjust this rudder settings, I guess, because they just changed some stuff with the sensitivities. Chances are it might have screwed my sensitivity settings again. Feels like it. When I apply full rudder, she refuses to turn and she stops turning. So I'm guessing there is something wrong with the sensitivity. Okay, we are on the taxiway. We will go all the way to the end and then take a right. That will take us to runway 23. We will set the takeoff flaps. In the meantime, flaps set. Up the thrust a little bit. She's accelerating more than I want her to accelerate. But let's take a look around while we are taxiing. Alright, very good. No problems so far. Hopefully it stays this way until the end of the flight. Coming to our turn shortly. This second right, I believe, is our turn to... Oh no, not the second one, to the third one. The one after this is our turn for runway 23. So I'll slow down just a little bit. Our ground speed is at 27 right now. Over there it's displayed, so I'm gonna slow down like so to make it easier for her to turn. And we start our turn just a bit later right now. And I'm applying right brake to make it easier for her to turn. Now adding some throttle to get her moving while I'm turning. Back to normal view. Okay, that is a nice turn. And I think we will enter the runway directly from here, because this is a plenty wrong runway. I don't see any problems with takeoff. It's gonna be fine. So we will enter the runway from here. So to do that, what I will do is I will slow down a little bit. Now we are entering the runway, so runway landing lights are on, strobe is on, and we are making the turn now. Alright. Hopefully we will line up with no problems. Looks like she is turning nice and decently. We can always apply some left brake if we feel like she is overshooting the turn. But so far so good. Alright. We will do a final check before we take off, and then we will do our takeoff run. Let's stop here for a second. LNAV can come on. And flaps are set. Auto brakes are to RTO for rejected takeoff. And everything else is looking fine. Better spool the engines and stabilize. And then we'll go toga. Full pressure, forward pressure on the stick to keep the nose down. And there she goes. We will maintain the center line as much as we can, and B1 is coming. B1 and rotate. There she goes. Alright. Not a bad takeoff. Gear is coming up. Flaps can come in as well. And we are on our way. I'm retracting the flaps. We will engage VNAV and we will engage autopilot and let her do the magic. Alright. Wow. Okay. Looks nice. She's climbing. So far so good in terms of departure. We will join to the flight plane route in a second. Let's increase the range to 40 and keep the fuel page over here. Okay, as far as I can tell, departure was seamless, like before, no problems there. Gonna see if the pressure is right. Yes, it is. So what I will do from this point on is I will climb to the cruise level and cruise along, and when it is close to top of descent, I will bring you guys back and we will discuss our arrival and the rest of the things for our approach into Washington. So to keep the video, guys, a little bit shorter than my regular ones, which I wasn't able to bring it down from 1 hour, I will cut the video here. There is nothing interesting to see. She is climbing, everything looks fine. Only thing I need to do is synchronize the heading to our current heading. There we go. And as soon as we pass 10,000, I will pause the video and bring you guys back when we are ready to descend. But as far as I can tell, no problems whatsoever for the departure part. She departed nicely. She is following the VNAV. Speed is below 250. We are passing 10,000, so let's turn off the landing lights, turn off the runway turn off lights and everything else. And that's it. One thing I forgot is the passenger signs, which I will turn on right now, and I will see you in a little bit. Close to our top of descent. It doesn't calculate the top of descent, but waypoint Papa Sierra Bravo is 60 miles away from our first altitude restriction. I will show the chart to you guys in a second. As you see, we have a 12,000 restriction here, and then 10,000, 7, 5 and 4. So we will try to follow that as much as we can. Therefore, we are going to set 12,000 and then start our descent. When we reach Papa Sierra Bravo, it's going to be about in 8 miles. Hopefully she will be at 12,000 before that restriction, or close, but we will see. In the previous one, when I activated the descent, the speed was going down to 198 knots, but we will see if it will stay above that when we are above flight level 100. Our descent is coming. We are already at Mach units, and so far she followed the flight plan without any problems. She climbed to 37,000 feet without any problems. So let's start our descent, and she will start descending while making that turn, and we hope, or at least I hope, she will stay close to the current speed while descending, or maybe even a little bit more, and maintain the Mach value and descend nicely to 12,000 feet before that waypoint. As far as I can tell, she is doing a good job, and I don't see a problem where she is not going to meet 12,000 before the restriction, because she's descending at 3,200 feet per minute. Let me get closer to the PFD. So 37, 38, I think this is a good descent rate, maybe too much, but VNAV speed, LNAV, and the throttle is idle, and the speed, I think she's gonna maintain somewhere, what, 800, that 0.84 knock units is, I believe, close to 310, so hopefully she will maintain that speed and descend nicely. Looks like she is trying to pitch the nose to maintain 310 knots. That's what I'm seeing. And that will give us a good descent, and we should be at 12,000 before the restriction. We'll see how that goes. While it's doing its thing, let's just program our arrival. Our arrival is going to be runway 01 right and ILS approach via the, let me see the flight plan and route real quick. It is going to be Maple 3 with a BRV transition. Execute that, and hopefully the plan is updated now without any problems. Well, with some problems. We don't see the plan route, and I think I see the route here, so yeah, it's okay. Looks like it's okay. So DAFX is where we need to be at 12,000 according to the chart. OV 10,000, Maple 7,000, and then MOVAT 5,000, and Husel 4,000. So we are going to try to meet that restrictions to see how she will perform. But so far I can tell she is a little bit struggling with the descent, but she's keeping at 310 as I expected. Below 29,000 she switched back to knots from Mach units automatically. I didn't do anything there, and we are going down in a decent rate. Alright, I will keep descending, speed up this part of the video for you guys to see, but until 4,000 I will not speak, and I will bring you guys when we are ready to pretty much execute our approach. Before doing so, one thing I want to do is go to the approach page, and only thing we can plug here is the flaps and landing speed. So we'll aim for flaps 30 and landing speed of 152, and this is still backwards. The flap should be here, speed should be there. It hasn't been fixed by Asobo, but that is the only thing we can do in terms of approach programming, and I will see you in a little bit. Welcome back, guys. We are at 4000. As you have seen, she struggled a little bit when passing 10,000. She wasn't dropping down to 250 knots. I had to manually command her to slow down to 250 and then engaged automatic speed or VNAV speed again, and she was able to maintain 250 somehow, around 250. She was off by 7-8 knots, but I think that's acceptable. So we are getting close to our transition point, which is going to be PRV right there. So when we get there, we will engage the approach mode, and before we hit that waypoint, I want to do this. The ILS frequency is set, the course is not, so I will display the chart to you guys. So as you see, ILS frequency is correct, final approach course is 011, and that's what we are going to plug in here, 011. That is set. I'm not sure if this is for ILS or VOR. Maybe it is for VOR, but I just want to set it anyway, just in case, to be on the safe side. According to the chart, and you guys cannot see it because the nav graph window is in place, but according to the chart, we are descending to 3000 at Mosby and then 1900 at Waxin to intercept the glide slope. So that is the plan. Let me get rid of the chart so that you can see the MCDU, not MCDU, FMC. What I did was plugged in the course to here. Okay, so everything pretty much is set for our arrival, and we are going to maintain 4,000 until Mosby when we make that turn, and we will descend down to 3,000 before Mosby, and hopefully that will take us to our approach and the final part of our flight. So I will speed up until we reach there, no need to keep you guys here. I will talk to you in a little bit. Welcome back. We are about to make the turn to BRV, and the VNAV speed, she is calculating the speed, I'm not touching it. She thinks we should be cruising at 226 knots. So I'm not gonna change it, I'm taking a risk here. I'm going to just start deploying flaps when we hit BRV, and we will see if she will adjust the speed accordingly, eventually going down to 152 knots, which is our final approach speed. At full flaps, we will see how she does when I start to deploy the flaps, whether she will slow down or if things will go south. I will take control and disconnect the autopilot and land her visually. So we are making the turn. I will adjust the heading to our final approach course, which is 011. There we go. Just in case anything goes wrong, I will have the heading set. But we are making the turn towards BRV. When we hit BRV, we will be roughly about how long? I'm trying to see here. Where is Mosby? That's BRV. I think that is Mosby. Yeah, so roughly we will be around, according to the flight plan legs page, we will be 10, 20. You still have a lot of time to descend to 3000 at Mosby. So we will turn and we will probably wait until we hit or get close to Mosby to deploy the flaps. But as you see, it's displaying VNAV path, LNAV and speed, so that means she's calculating everything for us, and we will see how good she will do for landing phase of the flight. There is it for our final turn to BRV, and then that will be our approach path into Washington Dulles International Airport. As far as the approach goes, as I said, I'm not gonna touch the speed or heading or vertical speed. Only thing I will do is the altitude to drop down to 1900 to capture the glide slope, but everything else she is going to do, and I will only disconnect the autopilot when we are ready to take control and land her, maybe at 1000 feet or below. Our minimums, by the way, is 512. I wasn't able to set that up again, even the changelog said they fixed the minimum setting. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. If you have a different idea, just let me know in the comments, but I didn't find a way to set the minimums in this aircraft yet, especially with the Hangar 9 system 787-1070ti mod. I'm gonna try to remove the mod and see if that was the problem, but as far as the minimums go, there is no way to set it up using the mod like right now. Alright, about to make that final turn, and then from there we will be getting close to our initial approach fix, which is Mosby, and there I will start deploying flaps, maybe before that, because we are already flying close to flaps 1 speed. So she should, as soon as I start deploying flaps, she should start slowing down to give me enough time to deploy the next level of flaps, or at least she should deploy to the... she will slow down, she should slow down. I can't talk. She should slow down to the speed that is safe to deploy the flaps to the next level. Okay. That's what I was trying to say. A mouthful of words which I wasn't able to speak for some reason. Alright. Maintaining 226, making that final turn, and I'm not sure if she will decelerate here, because it says decelerate and descend. Pardon, is this descent? I'm not sure. But we don't have to set 3000 yet. I mean, we can, but it is too early. Mosby is right there, maybe halfway through we can, because we are on a 20-mile range and Mosby is almost 20 miles away. Alright, we will monitor the speed to see if it's going to change according to VNAV path calculation that she made for us, or if it will stay at 226 until we deploy the flaps. I think this is just a visual awareness for us to decelerate, but we are already slow, so we don't want to slow down too much and take longer to reach the initial approach fix. Not sure where this 226 is coming from or how the aircraft calculated it. To me, we can perfectly go 250 and then slow down when we get close to Mosby. But just to be on the safe side, I'm not gonna touch anything, just in case touching anything might break something and put us in a difficult spot where all the flight is ruined because we just did something and we cannot go back to the state we were at. We'll see how good she is at managing the speed during landing. That is what I'm curious about, and we are about to see together. Alright, I think 10 miles, that's roughly maybe 12 miles away from Mosby. So when we see 5 miles here, I will go down to 3000 and then eventually for waxing 1900. I think that's a safe distance for us to descend, and we will start deploying flaps somewhere here before Mosby to see if she will slow down the next flap speed. A lot of testing and a lot of variables that can drive things crazy and break things, so not sure how this is going to end up. It scares me that we might end up like the last time we tried this and she was falling off the sky because the speed was not maintained after flaps 30. But we will see here in a second altogether. Getting close to 5 miles before this waypoint. I think this is something the simulator placed as a reference waypoint or whatever it is doing when calculating the path to the airport. Okay, we are about to hit 5 miles. Let me set 3000 and let's descend. So now I'm not sure if she's going to maintain the speed or slow down. We will see. I think she's trying to maintain that speed, 226, while descending. But we have almost like 700 feet to descend, so we are still safe. We will be at 3000 before Mosby. And when we, I think, hit this point, it is safe to activate the approach mode when we get there. Instead of weather, let's put the terrain to have some more awareness on how close we are to the ground. That is the airport right there. We started to see the lights. I'm gonna adjust the pressure one more time, but looks like it is okay. We are almost at 3000. Now she's trying to maintain 226, fluctuating a little bit, but that's what she's trying to do. We looks like have a 19-20 knot tailwind coming from behind. Looks like she's making this weird turn, which will eventually take us to Mosby and then wax him from there. So it should be a direct path 011 all the way into runway 01 right, which is, I think, that one right there. Okay, we are at 3000, looks like, almost. And she started to pick the ILS signal, so we started to see the diamond there. I'm gonna wait until Mosby to activate the approach mode, or maybe we can do it now and see how she aligns herself with the localizer. So approach mode is active, localizer looks like is captured, and it still displays the VNAV path. I think we can start deploying flaps. So flaps 1. So she's slowing down. So when we pass flaps 5 speed on the, let me just do this. Let's just use the hood. And we are getting to flaps 5 speed now. And she's slowing down, so that is good. That's a good sign. Flaps 5. Now we should start descending to 1900. There we go. So flaps 10 speed is reached. We are dropping flaps to 10, and we are also, looks like, descending to 1900. So flaps 15 speed. Flaps 15. So she's slowing down very nicely. It's flaps 17. Flaps 18. Flaps 20. Flaps 25 is coming around shortly when she slows down. Maybe we can still go flaps 25, I believe. Yes, and we have the last level of flaps. Let's drop the landing gear. Gear is coming down. Runway turn-off lights and taxi lights can come on now. We'll set the auto brake to 3 and we do the flaps 30. So now, as you see, the speed is very much lower than what we set. She should speed up now. But she is still slowing. We are about to capture the glide slope. I don't know if we went to flaps full too early. Maybe. Let's just pick the flaps up and let her speed up just a little bit to be on the safe side. Then she can get to 149 and we will deploy the flaps when we reach waxing and capture the glide slope, and descent rate will help to maintain the speed, hopefully. But 130 is not a good landing speed. As you see, it was 152, so I'm not sure why she is not maintaining that as we set it on the FMC. Maybe not do a full flap landing and stick to like flaps 20 or yeah, something around those lines, maybe? Not sure. But even like this, I think we can land with flaps 25, but I'm gonna still try flaps 30. We are getting down to 1900 and hopefully she captured the glide slope. So let's drop the last level of flaps and see how she performs. Flaps full, glide slope captured. Now we can stick to the hard wheel. Frames are suffering just a little bit. But looks like she is maintaining 142 instead of 152. And she's still on the glide slope and the localizer, so that's a good sign. That is where the runway should be, these arrows where we should aim at to maintain the center line. I think the winds are throwing her to the sides a little bit. So we are passing 1500. Speed is increasing or staying around 144, 143, which I don't have any problems with. The only thing I'm not curious is, looks like she's following the path now. The auto thrust, are we going to be able to, and looks like we are perfectly on the glide slope. The auto throttle, do I need to disconnect it or is it going to take my controls when I pull the throttle to idle and disengage the auto throttle? We will see, but I will keep the mouse over there just to quickly disconnect it if it doesn't happen. We are passing 1000. I'll probably wait until the minimums to see how she goes down there, but so far she is doing great. Looks like the improvements they made fixed some of the problems and we are coming down nicely. Okay, we heard the 500 call. I will now disconnect the autopilot and try to keep her on the glide slope. Looks like we are going to maintain the center line. 200 checked. Just a little bit to the left, I guess. Throttle to idle, disconnect the auto throttle. Okay, the auto throttle didn't do anything. And now, as you see, she's floating just a little bit, but she's gonna land eventually. Okay, reverse thrust is engaged, push the nose down. Okay, not a bad landing. Not a bad landing. 60 knots, reverse thrust is off. Apply the brakes and we will use this exit to vacate the runway. Alright, I'm surprised. I didn't expect her to maintain the speed and like you know, we just did the VNAV speeds all along. Bending lights are coming off now. We can turn the strobe light off. And let's keep an eye on where we are going. So I'm not sure where we should taxi. We can get rid of the HUD. But let's stop here for a second. Because I'm not sure where to park. And I have limited knowledge of Washington Dulles International and where the parking stands are for bigger aircraft. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask ATC. Oops, not that one. Tune the ground.
Airport information, Charlie 1800 Zulu. Wind calm.
No, I don't want to go back to clearance. Okay.
Sky condition, few clouds.
Never mind.
Feet, few clouds.
We will park somewhere. And the frames are still suffering. Okay. Let's go and try to find the parking spot for us. Bring the flaps in. And we will fire up the APU so that it is ready when we are ready to park. Alright. And let me bring the map to see where I am going. I think we should stay around here, so I'm gonna take this exit and see if I can find the tower parking spot for us. If not, I will stop somewhere, you know, next to maybe that Alaska Airlines. There's a big size aircraft right there. I think we can go there and find the parking spot. So let's get her going. She is very picky when it comes to turns, but we will keep this taxi route and keep going straight ahead and be on the look for any marshal that might be potentially waiting for us. And we can clean up some things. Flight director can turn off. Auto brakes can go to off as well. I'm trying to see if there is anybody waiting for us around anywhere. Maybe just go to the outside view, slow down the aircraft a little bit and see where we can park. I am not seeing a marshal anywhere waiting for us, so that's a little bit interesting. It looks like we can park. Maybe I'm not sure if we can park here and get a jetway connection. I'll go and park over here. That is my plan, next to that aircraft. Let me switch back and put her back on the taxiway. Maybe that's where we're supposed to park, I'm not sure. But that's where I'm aiming for. Yeah, let's make the turn. I'm not sure if I did it right. Where's the gate? Gate is there. And I should follow that line, I guess. A little bit off. Didn't make my mind on time, looks like. Let me just try to do this from the external view, if I can. Okay, she is turning. Slowly, but turning. Not the best parking, I'd say. but I think it is okay. I think we can park like this. I don't see any problems with that. So, alright, let's see if the jetway is going to connect or not. I have suspicions that it will not, but we will see. And we will kill the engines when the jetway starts to travel over here. Okay, it is coming. APU is running. We can turn the APU generators on, and engine 2 is shutting down. Engine 1 is shutting down. Okay. Oh, let's keep going. So the jetway, as you see, is way off, but overall the flight was okay. Alright guys, we tested the VNAV after the improvements Asoba made, and looks like she is a better aircraft now. There are still some things that needs to be fixed, like maintaining the speed or slowing down to 250 below 10,000, but overall I think this was a good flight. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.